Good morning. That's still hot. I am still in Nashville at the time of filming this. I have a little bit of time before my flight, so I thought I would film a quick beauty Q&A. I almost dropped my phone. I usually film these on my Nikon, but I'm on my vlog camera. So if the sound is a little bit different and the view is a little different, that is why. I'm in my hotel room, as you can see. I've packed for the most part, but I still have a few random things out. But anyway, this is a beauty Q&A. I have a handful of questions here that I'm gonna get into and sort of rapid fire this, go through as fast as I can to give you as much info as I can. So the first question is, does my liquid foundation have an expiration? Yes. Sometimes it's hard to find, but if you see a little number, it's usually either 6, 9, 12, 18, 24, and then an M next to it on the bottom of your container or on the box that the product was in. That is the expiration date from the time you start using the product. So if you open your foundation, do that first pump, get that first pump of air in there, from that moment to however many months it says on that little icon, it's just a number and then a little M, that is your expiration date. The next question is how to best deal with a really dry, flaky face. I have really dry, flaky skin. The best way to deal with it is to find a really good exfoliator that you love using very regularly, and then a super hydrating moisturizer. Like, the thicker the better to keep the flakes at bay. Sometimes foundations are more prone to flaking off than others, so also finding the right foundation for your skin type is key. Okay, someone asked what color eyebrow pencil I use. It depends on the brand because they're all sort of different colors, but typically I use colors that are called blonde, taupe, ash. In Hourglass, I use platinum. So typically it is the lightest and the most neutral or gray based. Because my natural color is quite ashy, I don't want a really warm eyebrow pencil. Next question is, when would you use setting powder? Before contour, blush, and highlight, or after? Use setting powder before you do contour, blush, and highlight. If you put setting powder on, even if it's a translucent powder, after you've put different colors on your face from contour to blush to highlight, you're gonna sort of take away the impact of it. So you're better off doing your foundation, setting powder, then doing, let's say it's just blush, then do blush afterwards. If you wanna do all three, do contour, blush, and highlight after you do the setting powder. Someone said, I cannot do eyeliner, what should I do? I wish I had more context here. If you can't do eyeliner, if you're struggling with it, one, I would highly suggest using a smudge brush. I've talked about that a lot and you may have missed it, but using a smudge brush with your eyeliner is gonna make your eyeliner look so much better. It smooths it out, it makes it easier to work with. It doesn't matter how like rough and jagged the line is because you just smudge it out. It looks softer, it looks prettier. I only use a smudge brush under my eyes. I really don't like eyeliner under eyes. It can look too harsh. And it ends up like taking away from your face, I think, than adding to it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. If you can't do eyeliner, if you just don't want to mess with it, find a black or really dark brown eyeshadow, and you can use either a dry eyeshadow or eyeliner brush or wet it and use eyeshadow in place of eyeliner. That's going to be much more forgiving than eyeliner, but it'll still give you that depth at the lash line that you're going for. Another question is, how do under eye products not look cakey? Or maybe how do you make sure under eye products do not look cakey? I think oftentimes we look at our faces and we're like, oh, my under eyes, let me just put a ton of under eye concealer on. It's gonna look cakey. A little goes a long way. The right color, the right correction in tone for your under eye area is way better than caking out a bunch of product. So for me, I like Charlotte Tilbury's Magic Away under eye concealer. I put a little bit of it on, I blend it in with my finger because I like the warmth of my finger to blend it into my skin. And then I set it with the Laura Mercier translucent under eye setting powder, or Secret Brightening under eye setting powder. Setting powder works really well for me. If you have a lot of wrinkles under your eyes, you're gonna find that setting powder may highlight your concealer lines, so you may want to avoid a setting powder, but less is more when it comes to under eye concealer. And instead of caking on a really thick amount of concealer, if you need a lot of correction for the darkness under your eyes, use an under eye corrector and then a concealer on top of it. I know that's two products, but if you use those two products, just like trace amount, as much as you need. They're both gonna do great work to brighten your under eye. I'd look into Bobbi Brown or Laura Mercier for under eye correctors. It's not a concealer, it's a color corrector for your under eye, and then you put concealer right on top of it. Someone asked, do you use retinol? I do not. I've tried like a few. I tried a Neutrogena retinol product around my crow's feet, and then I just kind of got bored with it. I'm like, I am not your girl to be worried about wrinkles. They're coming. Okay. I'm not just that worried about it. So I know a lot of people are. I'm not. I'm just gonna get wrinkles. I am using and have used for most of this year a Biossance Phyto Retinol Serum. It's not retinol, it's a plant-based retinol around my forehead, and it has tightened my skin nicely. That is what I'm using as, like, I guess sort of a preventative, good for my skin option. But if someone was like, stop using that Biossance Phyto Retinol Serum, I'd be like, okay. I'm also not worried about wrinkles, but that's just my personal opinion. So no, I don't use retinol on the regular. I think it's really harsh and my skin's very sensitive, so I'm avoiding it at all costs right now. Someone asked, does your eyeliner come off when you curl your lashes? Not anymore. That has happened from time to time. I find that that happens often if I do not use an eyeshadow primer or if my eyeliner is not good. So if that happens to you regularly, make sure you're using an eyeshadow primer, even if you're not going to put eyeshadow on. Put an eyeshadow primer on. You can get clear ones. They're just a serum you put on your eyelid. Then put your eyeliner on. Make sure it's totally dry before you go right in with your lash curler. Just like 60 seconds for it to set in place. Always get a waterproof long wear eyeliner. You got no use for something that isn't waterproof or long wear when it comes to eyeliner. What is one thing I should do beyond cleansing and moisturizing? This was such an easy answer. Exfoliate, exfoliator. There are two different main types of exfoliators. You can get a chemical exfoliator, which is like an acid, or a textured exfoliator that has like grit to it. I prefer the products with grit. I don't know why. I've used those most of my life and I like the feeling of it. But a great exfoliator is gonna slough off that dead skin that's sitting on top of your face. So your moisturizer and your cleanser are gonna work more effectively. So if you need one more skincare product to introduce into your routine, an exfoliator is it. Okay, I got through those pretty fast. I'm excited about that. So I hope this was enjoyable for you to watch. If you wanna see more videos like this, be sure to click around my YouTube channel. I have a lot of beauty Q&A and beauty monthly favorites, all kinds of stuff on there. So make sure to browse around the YouTube channel and subscribe as well. And then also come follow along on Instagram. I do a lot of question and answers on Instagram, especially on stories. So if you like this sort of thing and you want just beauty information, come follow me on Instagram as well.